Hey, everybody. Today we welcome back our good friend to the show, CryptoPapi. He's going to give us a little bit of strategy and alpha about navigating these choppy NFT seas. And we are also going to talk about his upcoming project, Pirates of the Metaverse. So let's jump right into it. All right. So I'm here with CryptoPapi. We had our chat I think a few months ago. It kind of feels like it was a few years ago. It was a great chat, so I'm glad that I can follow up with you today. And some exciting things going on with you. You've got your project coming up, Pirates of the Metaverse, and you're just somebody that's a really good follow on Twitter just for his opinions and just for what he's seeing in the space. So I think this is going to be a really cool interview for those who are watching to learn more about your takes on the space currently and also to hear more about your project. So thanks so much for joining me today, CryptoPapi.
Hey man, thanks for having me. Absolute blast to be back with you and chatting about sort of my experiences as well as my project. So thanks for the invite and pumped to be here.
Great. So we'll start off. We'll get to your project in a second. I'm curious, just at you as someone who was a notorious Bored Ape flipper and just someone who really had a great strategy and influenced my learnings around collecting and buying and selling NFTs. I'm curious, how has your strategy changed at all? I think we last spoke in the summer, so it's been about, I don't know, 7, 8 months. How has your strategies changed in the last 7 to 8 months?
Man, that's a good question. Boy, has this market and literally the whole space has changed so much that I think back in the day I think my strategy was very much to really try and find projects that maybe had a low floor that were undiscovered or hadn't been minted yet and were undiscovered. And I kind of made outside of the board apes, which was a very different strategy, where I probably made the best money was buying undiscovered things that then rose 10x 20x from like point zero 0.01 0.02 to point 1 point 2 was a thing that was happening quite a bit 6 months ago. Don't get me wrong, like I'd say I have at least 20 projects in my wallet that I bought at point zero 0.01 that are worth zero now and really never took off. So it's not like every single one that I did I nailed it on. But that was, I used to kind of focus on that back then. And I think the market has changed completely. And right now, all the mints are actually fairly expensive compared to what they were before in ETH, not necessarily in USD dollar. Um, the way to mint now with potentially a discount or to even guarantee yourself a mint is to get onto some sort of whitelist. I'm not a grinder. I'm not someone that's going to spend time in Discords fake talking for whitelist. So I am, not only because I'm super busy doing my own thing with pirates, but also because of where the market's taken a turn to. I find myself, I'm not minting much these days, very little. If I mint, it's because someone gave me whitelist because I own a board ape, or mostly because of the board apes. Um, and my strategy now actually has been more looking for projects that initially dump on reveal
Mm,
that to me look like winners.
hmm.
And 90% of the projects dump on reveal. Not all of them. Some take off. And Azuki, I'll give you an example. That thing was gone before I had a chance to buy, and here I am, like regretting, not paying more attention to Azuki. So some of them just come and go real fast. But there's lots of other projects, right, where decently strong community, good roadmap, good team. I'll give you an example of one that is near and dear to me right now.
Hmm.
Is MFers. I don't want to say the full word. I know we're on
Okay,
YouTube.
I know it.
MFers. So I mean, on reveal, those things got down to like 0.12, and I bought a bunch because they got the meme culture going. They got Satoshi, the project founder is very visible, very well known on Twitter. It felt like a good project to take a chance on, And those things, they hit 6.4 ETH last night. I sold my last one
Hmm.
at 6.2, and they're down today. Great project though. But that's I think the typical strategy that I follow now is I look at a project that dumps on reveal that I think has a good opportunity of going up, and I buy them. I'm not minting anything. I'm not really. That's literally the only thing I'm doing to participate in trading right now, to be honest.
So what was it about this particular project? Because I do remember when it was being talked about. So it was mostly about the founder. It was mostly about Satoshi, which is why people were feeling bullish about it.
Yeah. I think memes are strong, right? Like this is the art is like Stickman,
Right.
and is very memeish, and I think people get very bullish, like on memes, even more than utility, to be honest. Like it feels like in this space anyway. And I think when I made a decision to start buying is when I saw, to be honest, it sounds shallow, but it's true. A bunch of influencers buying it. Um, so not only buying it, changing the profile picture was very telling for me.
Mm,
You
that's
had
it.
people like Farouk, and I think Archik did as well. And I know a lot of these people are hated by people, but at the end of the day, they move markets. So
Yeah.
if you're looking at it purely from a trading perspective, and you disconnect yourself from emotions, which if you're trading NFTs, you need to not consider, oh, I'm not going to buy this because I don't like this person, or they said something stupid I don't like, right? You
Yeah.
literally need to just trade the NFT. And enough influencers changed their profile picture while they were dumping, funny enough,
Mm.
that it just looked like an obvious. I mean, now I can say it looked obvious. Back then, hey, I didn't
Hindsight,
have more
right?
conviction. I could have bought 50 of them and I didn't. So I
But
think I
what
have 5 at the most, which isn't
why do you
huge
think that
conviction.
happened? Why do you think that happened though, that they were dumping at the same time that people were putting them as their profile? Because isn't that usually not the way things work?
Yeah, I think it just happened on the reveal. And I think no matter what on reveal, you've got a ton of people that minted purely to flip. And they're
Mm.
not looking at anything else other than, hey, I made my 10x. Like, because that 0.12, 0.15, I can't remember exactly how much they minted for. I missed the mint. Again, I wasn't paying attention until they revealed.
Yeah.
So I think you just naturally, you got people flipping out. They've made their 10x. They're moving on to something else. And that's when I come in now. That's kind of my thing now. I come in after you've made your 10x, and I'm thinking there's another 10x involved here, because I'm not willing to grind it out for the first 10x, right?
Yeah. So how are you researching or finding secondary opportunities nowadays? Are there things that are coming up, let's say this week, or I mean, I know now you're super busy, but if you, let's say if you weren't as busy, or maybe you still are there things coming up, let's say in the next 2 weeks that you have an eye on that you know you have no shot at a whitelist, but you're like, I'm looking to snipe that, and that's on my radar. And how do you find that?
Yeah, I know this is gonna sound super shallow, but first of all, what's hot on Twitter? Like, what are people talking about that's potentially coming in the next couple of weeks? I mean, Invisible Friends is an obvious one that I'm looking at. They're minting fairly cheap, what I consider cheap, because of the hype they have. And out of all these projects that have like 2, 300, 400,000 followers, that 99% of them are fake,
Right.
they seem to really have some organic hype behind them. So I imagine that they're obviously gonna sell out. They're going to you're gonna have people that are gonna make, you never know, like this could be like a 50x, like a 30x on the mint price, 100x. Um, it's tough to gauge.
I mean, this looks like a fake.
That's a fake one. That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
So let's
the right
not
one.
show that. Um,
Yeah, so you can imagine, like, they'll be at 2, 3, 4, 5 ETH, hell, maybe 10 ETH. It could be crazy. So
you're gonna snipe for 10 ETH?
no, that's gonna be pre-reveal, right?
Okay, okay.
So that's when you don't buy,
Yeah.
right? When people are cashing in their 50x, 100x, don't buy. On reveal, however, a project like that with that much hype is probably going to fall hard, is my assumption. So I'm going to be looking at it very closely on reveal and see how far down, until you kind of see where it kind of reaches a floor.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I'll probably take my shot and buy a few for sure, because I do think it's organic enough, it's pumped up enough that it'll probably start to rise after that. But it's not only up. You got to catch it in that lull period, right?
And are you concerned at all that the minting amount is less, so there'll be less supply, less dumping? Because there's only 5,000 of them.
I just think that's going to mean the floor is going to be higher. But you're still going to have a percentage of those minters they're not going to be able to say no to their
Yeah,
50x, right?
that's
Like,
true.
and the reveal, like, it's just inevitable that, and by the way, if it doesn't dump, then I don't buy. It's that
Right.
easy. Like, I'm
So
looking for it to dump, but like Azuki, I don't know how much it dumped. It just took off from me so fast that once it was at 10 ETH, I'm out.
yeah,
I don't spend 10 ETH on anything. I can tell you that
yeah,
right now.
yeah. Not even the nicest JPEG. Um, what about a project that comes to mind? Because the project that comes to mind, two projects comes to mind about when they went super high in the pre-reveal and then dumped. So the first one, of course, was Mechaverse. Um, would you apply the same thinking to that one? And the
Yeah.
second one also is the bait. What's it again? The Hape Beasts, Hapes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So were you buying either of those?
I bought Mecha at point 0.9 ETH when I found the floor. I've never seen so much FUD for a project in my life, and that's usually a buying opportunity.
Hmm.
Um, and so I bought it at point 0.9 ETH, and I sold that one like 4 weeks later at 2 ETH,
Nice.
and I never went back in. I
Mhm.
I, I felt like the FUD was going to be. It was so strong that there was a buying opportunity and that there would be a bounce. At the same time, I didn't see it as a long-term bounce or something that I thought had longevity.
Right.
Um, and I actually nailed that one, but I only bought one because I had very little conviction,
Right.
right? Um, I don't want to be Mr. Futter, but to be honest, when it came to Hate Beast, I just don't. I feel like it's still overpriced,
Hmm.
personally.
So then you're
I
not.
don't like it.
So you just don't like the look, or you don't like something else.
Yeah, I don't. I have no clue. I didn't like it from the moment that I saw the art. So I've never liked it. So I've never focused on when should I buy this, because
Right.
I do have to somewhat like the product, in case I get stuck with it forever.
Okay, fair enough. But
It's
yeah,
and
this was.
this is a totally personal opinion. Some people may look at this art and may like it.
Oh, of course.
Um, I don't resonate with it at all, so I haven't paid any attention other than I kind of look at its price and I know that it's not doing well.
Hmm.
um, and and I hope not too many people are getting burnt. You know who?
Well, I think a lot of people got that for very little because they were part of the what's it called again? House of Kibo, which I dumbly did not buy when I
Me
saw it
too.
because
Me
it was
too.
priced in US dollars. Why couldn't they just have priced it in Ethereum? I would
We
have
were
bought
both
it like
here, man. We could have bought House of Kiba for $500. Exactly. I turned it down
uh,
because I'm like, you want my credit card? Forget that.
Oh, that sucks. All right. Well, I think that's interesting, at least to hear more about your approach. So you're very much on the secondary right now. Is there anything else in terms of like projects you're looking at, or just general strategy, or does that kind of cover it, you think, for
As
now?
you know, I'm massive on Chicken Derby,
Yep.
and so I'm also looking for projects that are true utility, and that comes out of, so that's not no longer like the trader me, but rather, okay, what projects do I actually want to engage in long term? Because I think we're getting to the point where some projects are now starting to deliver real utility, and
Hmm.
so, Guild of Guardians, Chicken Derby, um, Hoodlums, Ballers, projects that I have confidence in are going to be able to deliver some utility. I'm investing in now early, knowing that it's a long road ahead. There's going to be FUD ahead. There's going to be maybe even better buying opportunities ahead for some of these projects, but you never know. So I'm just kind of investing in them now and hodling them and kind of keeping them off to the side. And then Chicken Derby, I'm like fully in that. I'm racing my chickens. I built my charts and stuff to know where to race my chickens best. So it's kind of like there's two sides of me. There's like the person that's really truly investing their time into some of these communities, and then the trader side, which I'm not doing that much of anymore. By the way, why my secondary strategy? Sorry, why my strategy is to buy off secondary post reveal on the dump is because I don't have a lot of time to research these projects. So it's very difficult for me. I couldn't even tell you hate Beast utility, to be honest. Like I've never even dug into what the project is other than the art. I stopped there. Um, and so I can't do everything that I would love to do in the space while I'm building.
Of
So
course.
that's kind of like, so yeah, like, Guild of Guardians is an example of a project that I probably been in too long because there's going to be more buying opportunities. Now it's delayed. We're not really going to play the game till like 2023 is what we're
Mhm.
hearing now. So do you have to be invested in Guild of Guardians now all the way to 2023? Probably not. But I still kind of, I minted Guild of Guardians, so I'd rather keep my bag there and watch them develop over time and engage in what they're doing. But that's it. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing these days, and because 90% of my time is actually building my project.
Right, right. So Gilded Gardens is one I actually don't know much about. I should probably go take a look at it. It looks like the floor. No, it's a fake collection.
It's on
Um,
Immutable X.
okay, that would be why you
It's on a
shouldn't look at
different
it.
blockchain.
For OpenSea, it would be a mistake. Um, all right.
Yeah,
Well, I think
and by the way, like if you look at it, is actually probably the most legit game in the NFT space right now. If you look at the quality of the game and what they're building, and it takes a long, long time to create a valid game. We're seeing it from them, where it's going to be a couple years before we get to play the game. But I enjoy
right,
kind of engaging in the community and just keeping up with everything they're building. So
right. So they must be giving like some nice little bite-sized updates every so often, getting people excited.
yeah, like
Um,
they did a airdrop of the token itself, even though the token has no utility. They did an airdrop of profile pictures that they created, and all of that you can see is just it's kind of minor investments to keep people engaged because the ultimate game it takes years, right? So
mhm.
you got to keep people somewhat looking forward to something in the meantime.
And so that's on the Immutable X blockchain. Is that right? Does
Yeah,
Immutable X have a blockchain?
yeah, that's a layer two to Ethereum.
Oh, it's layer two to Ethereum. Okay.
And Guild of Guardians is kind of like their flagship product on that blockchain.
Okay. And then there's also Gods Unchained, which I've heard
Yes,
of.
yes.
Got it. Okay. I actually haven't looked at Immutable X too much. That's what I've only taken a look at that because I bought those Gary Vaynerchuk books, and that those are being bought and sold there.
The only thing I own on Immutable X is actually Guild of Guardians.
That's cool. And I'm just out of curiosity, what's the floor? Like, how's the floor of that project doing? If it's something that
It was
had quite a
it
bit of
was
hype.
pretty healthy. Like it was like I'd say 3 or 4x from mint price for a long time for a project that hadn't released anything other than like teasers. And then they made the announcement maybe a week and a half ago that their roadmap is now changed significantly.
Mhm.
Whereas we thought we'd be playing the game sometime soon. And if you look at the quality of the teasers, the game looks sick and it
Yeah, I
looks
love.
real and legit. And you're like, I'm gonna get to play this soon. And then they said, well, not really. It's probably gonna be more like 2023, maybe even mid 2023 is the way it sounded. So at that point, the floor has dropped significantly, still above mint price last time I checked.
Mhm.
But certainly, there was probably an opportunity to flip out for others. For me, again, I'm invested in it long term. So
And you already filled your bag, or would you start buying more now, or you minted?
I minted a lot of that, so
Okay,
I'm pretty happy with everything I have. I think I have
got it.
20 legendary heroes, and plus I bought some more off the floor, like more of the ones like the pets and stuff that they released. So I'm pretty. I have a guild as well, like so that I can form an actual guild. So that's why I'm kind of keeping everything because it. I don't really need that money. Like I look at it as a long-term investment. So
Right,
that's not my flipping stash, right? Just
got
like
it.
chicken derby, I've never sold a chicken, literally not
Mhm.
one. And I looked at that as I knew that was like 6 to 8 month period before we got to play the game. Now we're playing the game, but I held chickens through ups and downs, and it didn't really matter. The price wasn't anything I was thinking
I
about.
don't actually remember how low that floor got because I remember I know now it's like at 0.03 for the worst chicken. Um,
It's still kind of at min price. Like, it depends. Like 0.033 was the first uh drop, and 0.042 was the second drop,
Mm,
and they seem to linger, actually, the floor at that price.
got it.
But you're going to see more. We were talking about this offline. With Chicken Derby, you're going to see more chickens aggressively being sold now, because people are actually racing them, and they're finding out the data on the chicken and whether they have confidence that it's a good chicken or a bad chicken. So the floor, my prediction is the floor doesn't matter as much now, but you're going to see a divergence between good chickens and bad chickens, creating a lower floor. But the good chickens, like, I had a chicken that won its first three races. I'm not selling that chicken no matter what. And as soon as that data becomes exposed to everyone else, which the tools are being created now for others to be able to pull up that data on my chicken, that means the value of my chicken is going to increase, like a hockey stick. So you're just going to get a lot more differences in the prices, because it has utility now versus
Mm.
they're just all equal, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely an interesting experiment for sure, and a cool game too. And I see you in a lot of those races as well. I'm not, I don't think I'm racing in the bigger ticket races like you, but at least I see you in my races at times. Um, but anyhow, I think that's a good segue, just to hear a little bit about your current strategy. And I think also now would be a good time to hear about your project, because of course I've had an eye on that from day one when you initially announced it. And I guess we can pull it up right now. So this is Pirates of the Metaverse. So there's the pop up right there on the website. The pre-sale happening March 7th with the mint price of 0.077, public sale after that at point 0.1. And yeah, so I'll tell you my initial thoughts on your project, and then I want to hear a lot of information from your side. But
Sure.
when I first saw this project, first of all, I thought the artwork was really cool. I can already envision one of these guys on my desk as a little action figure or something. The art's really nice. It's really clean. When I saw early on when the website showed about this thing here, but the alternate dimensions, that was also super cool, where you could own it. You could own your pixelated pirate, your 2D pirate, your 3D pirate. And then you released this amazing looking teaser video, and that really took me back in time to when I used to play a game called Monkey Island, which was a Sierra game that had Guybrush Threepwood versus the zombie pirate LeChuck, and that's kind of where my head went right away. And so it just seemed like this project sort of was unique. The artwork was super cool. It just seems like there's a lot of potential here. So I'm very curious about to learn more about this project, and for you to tell anyone who watches this video kind of how you got here and where you're thinking this is going and what to expect. And so anyhow, that's my initial take. But so now I can start asking you questions, which is just like, how long has this been in development? When did this first come about? When did this idea first come about?
Yeah. So Pirates of the Metaverse is founded by me and my two partners, who are related to me in real life. So all
Oh,
three of us
cool.
are cousins. And the idea of how pirates emerged was, I was the first one that really came into the NFT space, and had also decided that I was going to go full time into the NFT space. Yeah, put that back up so I can tell you
Sure.
who the characters are. So Louise, who you see there, the second pirate, he came into the space a few months after I did, and Luis has always been this kind of entrepreneurial person in real life, and really enjoyed degenning in the NFT space the same way I did. And we had this little alpha group where we would often mint and stuff like that. And Tom is our other cousin, who's like this creative genius who's worked with many celebrities and artists to create their brand for them. For pirates, he's everything that you see that is visual is really his vision. Anybody
Cool.
that we have multiple artists on board, but it's really all directed by
Mhm.
him. And so I was doing my thing. I founded my own company, and I kind of had built a business model for what I wanted CryptoPapi, the brand, to be, and what I wanted to do with it. Uh, Louise and Tommy had started this idea of launching a project together, and um, Tommy created like the concept art first, and came up with the concept of pirates.
Hmm.
And at that point, they decided to approach me to see if I wanted to join the ship, because all three of us together are kind of like all the skills that we felt we needed in Web3.
Hmm.
And so when they took, rather than kind of bringing me in pre-concept, they wanted to have a concept to kind of show me. And I take you back to that meeting. It happened sometime in October. The moment we met, us three, and I saw the vision for what they wanted to build, it was an easy yes from me. The meeting didn't end, so they both were like, "Well, take some time, think about it." I was like, "No, I don't need to. Actually, I'm in. Let's go. Let's do this." I just kind of the perfect vision of what I wanted to do as well. It very much tied into what I was already planning in my head, but I hadn't started executing on. And these are two people that I fully trust with, my daughters. So why wouldn't I trust them to partner with them on a project? And from there on, it was like, let's go, let's build this. I actually abandoned everything I was thinking of from my own personal CryptoPapi brand and my business models, because I did leave since we last talked. Right, I left my IT career to be full time in the NFT space. So it's not like I don't need to find a source of income. Of course I do. If I'm going to be here long term, 20, 30 years, which I want to be, then there has to be a sustainable business model for me to support myself and my family. And so, I kind of, it wasn't just when meeting with Tommy and Louise, it wasn't just about Pirates and the brand and the vision for everything that could happen with Pirates, but it was the vision for what kind of business do we also want to be. So we founded Drip Studios, which is a business on its own and stands on its own. And their idea of what, we kind of built that together. What do we really want Drip Studios to be? And as we talked about that, it was a no brainer, man. It was definitely easy for me to say these are two people that I want to spend the rest of our careers together building stuff in this incredible space.
That's awesome. And well, I could ask you about Drip Studios real quick, which is, so I take it this is like a project within Drip Studios, and in the future maybe there'll be more.
Yeah, so Pirates of the Metaverse is the Genesis collection of Drip Studios. Drip Studios right now is partnering with celebrities, artists that want to launch their own NFT token. And we've already signed people on board. We've already started actually developing their NFTs. It's a different part of our business. Drip Studios is basically an end-to-end NFT studio. So if you're someone that has a brand, an existing following, and you don't really know anything about NFTs, but you're looking at this market as something that you want to capitalize on to engage with your fans in unique ways. We all know NFTs are hot. So, anybody who has a following right now that is thinking NFTs is thinking, how do I engage with my fans in ways I haven't been able to before? And so we're starting to sort of provide end to end services from the artwork and the creative side with Tommy and his team, as well as like the front end and the back end. So the website development, the back end development, community management as a service is something we're providing to them. We build the Discord out, we manage the Discord, we manage the community. So picture again someone that has a following that wants to create an NFT, that wants to do nothing but create an NFT and doesn't even know where to start. The consulting, the advisory piece is a big part of that as well, and then the sales and the marketing of it.
Yeah,
And so
I know there's a lot involved there, and some of those are, they sound like sort of one line there, like the community management. But to me, the community management is almost like almost the biggest piece in a way, because once you finish the mint, how do you keep the hype? How do you keep the community going? To me, that's like the hardest part. That I don't really know what the easy answer to something like that is. But when you consider so many projects out there, there's going to be certain outliers, and a lot of projects, the successful projects, are going to need that in a major way.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so every project has their own utility, their own value proposition, their own unique community as well that surfaces from it. And so our job is to strategically align ourselves with what it is this particular person wants to get out of their NFT, and what are you willing to offer your community. Like we're working with an artist right now that basically is going to give things like backstage passes to their concerts, merch access, um, special recording sessions, like on Twitch, with their community only. They can see as they're building their next album, like they're able to do that. So our job is to kind of surface all those things that person is willing to do, and then make it all real, with Discord, website, technology, all that good stuff.
That's awesome. And I think it's also a perfect match for a musician, let's say, because a musician is always going to have regular content, concerts, albums. It's never going to be like, well, what do we do for the next few months? There's always going to be something. So that really seems like a real ideal, I don't know if the word is vertical or not, but that sort of subset of celebrity to me makes perfect sense. So that's great. So definitely got to keep an eye on Drip Studios. I may even have to talk to you soon because in my nonprofit work, we're thinking about doing something in this area. But that's very cool.
What I can tell you
And
is, if I'm sorry to cut you off, I just want to
yeah, go
say
ahead.
this: like, this space is insane right now when it comes to the amount of people that want to engage in NFTs that don't know about NFTs. And so if any of you are in this space right now, you're still super early. I can really feel like the pressure coming in terms of like the amount of opportunities Drip Studios has, and having to actually turn people down, because we can't say yes to everything either. And I highly suggest, like, for anybody that's in the space, really think about like what's your niche, what's your value proposition back into the space, because um, a large percentage of you will start to work in this space full time, be hired by companies like Drip Studios and all these other businesses that are coming up now.
And I'm just curious, how are these people finding you? How are they looking for for Drip Studios in this example?
So it depends on the expertise, right? So developers themselves, we've had to go out and get them. They're highly in demand. They can write their own ticket. They can do whatever they want right now. There's a scarcity of resources in this space when it comes to actual blockchain development. So
Yeah.
that's more of us going out looking for them. Many of the other roles that we've started to hire for, believe it or not, a lot of them come from the community, like
Hmm.
people that engaged in Pirates. We hired our first full time employee last week, and he's someone that came from the Pirates community. Really early when I first tweeted about it, showed interest, engaged in the community, and he just kind of moved his way up. And so our next few hires that are all going to come very very soon, are actually going to, it's already people that we've talked to that are working on Pirates that we just want to bring on full time.
Hmm.
And then there's other roles like, web development that are, much easier to get because they're very
Yeah.
traditional Web 2 type roles, right? But we'll soon have a careers page on driftstudios.io. Like, our big focus, because we already had the business with Drip Studios, we haven't focused on marketing. We haven't focused on like a careers page to hire. We had the business and we had the resources because we're working on Pirates, right? But our main focus has been Pirates. Really, 90% of our time are now spent on Pirates. The Drip Studios NFTs we're launching, partnering with others, are still very early in the advisory stages. So we're
Hmm.
meeting, once a week to kind of discuss things. But our focus is launching Pirates right now.
So then let's talk more about Pirates. First of all, what I found what was very unique about your project is it seems like the polar opposite to some of these projects that are there's so much crazy, like it feels like fake hype where you find some of these projects, you enter their Discord, there's 250,000 people in it, everyone is just spamming each other, literally copy and pasting the same pictures over and over to try to get a whitelist. And I could tell from the beginning that this was not something that you intended to do. You're sort of swimming against the current in that sense. So tell me more about that. Tell me more about how you guys came to that decision when it does seem like so much of the space is how it's going.
Yeah, I think so. Our team, again, us three as the founders, but also the people that have joined our team and our ability to recruit talent gave us a lot of confidence that we don't have to be like every other collection. And the last thing we want to do is drop a 10K PFP with no utility and just an idea with mediocre art. That wasn't something that we were willing to settle for. If we were going to build something, we're going to build something that was going to be representative of us and our capabilities, and it was for the long term, and it was a brand that we could envision existing 20, 30 years down the road. And so we started to challenge sort of the space and how things are being treated right now, and me personally, how much I hate grinding for whitelist. So our first unique idea was, well, let's build a game that people can play, have fun, and that's how people will get on the whitelist. Other than obviously partnerships and giveaways we'll do on Twitter and things like that, but the idea of grinding a Discord to level up, to fake talk, to drive fake engagement is something we're wholly against. It's not truly representative of a community that you're building. And so we created a game, and that game is being played right now. Has been played for 4 weeks or maybe 6 weeks now. And that's how people get free mints as well as they get on the whitelist for pirates. Um, we also wanted to drop an NFT that was challenging the status quo. And so one of the early conversations we had about was, what blockchain do we want to drop on? Because right now, as I see it, there's really three major blockchains that you can drop on, and then there's a bunch of other ones that are up and coming. The three big ones I see that have full out marketplaces and is Flow, Solana, and Ethereum.
Mhm.
And so those were tough conversations because Luis is kind of a soul head. Uh, I'm kind of like, I love Flow itself and the experience of Flow. But at the same time, I know that most of the capital exists on ETH. So it's a tough conversation when you're trying to decide. Nowadays, it's more complicated than before. Where do you want to launch? And so, we started to really think about, well, why aren't we like the first collection that drops on three different blockchains? And one of the limitations of even like my Bored Apes, which I love, um, is if we can imagine that there really is this metaverse, which we believe is not a single experience or a single place to go to. Like the metaverse is anything digital that we're interacting with in the future, then people are going to need options. And I strongly believe that we're going to spend a portion of our time in one blockchain doing one thing, and then the same day we might migrate over to another blockchain and do something different. Like today, I'm doing my Bored Ape stuff on ETH, and then I go to Chicken Derby, and actually on Polygon, which is a different blockchain. And then let's say Sandbox launches, and then I may be on ETH and a more immersive experience. But then let's say I want to go see my psychiatrist, and he happens to be on Solana. And then we're trading Ballers, and that's happening on Flow. And maybe a year from now, Ballers has this immersive game that we're playing, and that's a different blockchain. So we really feel like that's where we're going, where you're not going to choose one blockchain because you won't have, not every blockchain is good for every experience. And you're probably going to be living on many different blockchains. And so we wanted to create and give people a single identity to be able to basically use in those different blockchains. And that's where the idea of pirates on three different blockchains came from. What we added as well is not many, up until we started to launch our ideas, more are doing it now, had actually launched a collection with different art styles. And so we're giving people lots of option. We're giving you the option to represent yourself on the blockchain you want to represent yourself as well as the type of art that you like, whether it's 2D, 3D, or pixel art.
Yeah, I love the artwork. It's so nice. It just, you can tell it's quality artwork. Obviously nowadays it seems like a lot of rugging projects are spending all their money on artwork, but in this case, it's nice looking artwork. I love that you can have the same avatar across multiple chains. What more can you say about the idea of what you would be doing in all of the different chains? So it sounds like you gave some examples of like, Chicken Derby on Polygon and a lot of things happening on ETH, and perhaps there's going to be metaverse rooms, let's say, on all the different chains. Is there anything else to say about that, or is it sort of something where we got to see where we are when we get there?
Yeah, so the initial utility of our drop will give you pirates on three different blockchains. But the idea is that we are dedicated to really solving or creating and evolving the cross chain experiences. And so it's still very early for what cross chain means and what features people want from cross chain. One of the early ones that is being worked on right now is the idea that you can wrap an NFT and send it from one blockchain to another. And so when you think about it, this is a stopgap that until that becomes a reality, and we could be very far away from that being a reality, you can represent yourself on the different blockchains. But, you know, we have flexibility and we have options by having pirates on every different blockchain. For example, if we decide to build a experience, or more importantly, we decide to partner with an experience, um, and that experience is on Solana, well, we have the ability to give the Solana pirates their own unique utility that gives them access to this unique experience on Solana. But our idea, our ultimate goal, is that we are building a cross-chain experience that will be our flagship product that will allow people to come to our website, check in with their pirates, their sets of pirates, and participate in our experience that gives you benefit for holding pirates across multiple blockchains. And at the same time, if you only hold one on one blockchain, then you still get utility, you still get to participate. But we're always going to give the maximum utility, or we're going to highly incentivize people to collect sets across the different blockchains, because the idea is that we want to help build tools and experiences that are going to help solve the cross chain experience.
So is there anything more that you can tell about some experiences that you anticipate, or like the value that someone would get for holding the token across all three chains? Like what would should people, I guess, look forward to, depending on how much details you can share? But like, what is that? What more can you tell me about experiences? Let's say, so I can feel really excited that I have all three across all three chains. Like, what am I looking forward to now?
Yeah, and so maybe let's take a step back for a little, so because this confuses people sometimes. So the journey is we're going to mint on ETH on March 7th, 0.07 ETH for those that are on the whitelist, zero point 0.1 for those that are not, which is for me is a very reasonable price. Again, I feel like we're going above and beyond. We're giving people, different art styles, different tokens on different blockchains. I don't know who's done that. I'll challenge you to find someone that's actually done that much. And we've already built a game that people are playing uh, pre-launch, right? Um, so that's kind of like the initial mint. So you're going to hold your ETH pirate, and that is going to be a 3D pirate. It's going to be revealed, typical, let's say it's 48, 72 hours, that, pre-reveal. And then once things get revealed, there's probably another couple of weeks, and you're going to come back to our website and you'll see our first cross-chain experience, which is an aggregator that shows you sort of your pirate on ETH and then your matching pirate on Solana, kind of like grayed out, where it's like a gallery view, and you'll have the ability to claim it at that point. And then once you claim it, you now have this set that comes to life on our website, and you can start to see all the sets that you own, or the individual pirates that you own. And so, that product in itself is something we're investing in, which is we want to make it easy for people to find their matching pirates if they buy it off the secondary. So it's kind of like this social media based experience where you'll be able to communicate with others let's say I have a pirate serial number 1000 and I don't have the matching one on Solana, I should be able to hopefully communicate with someone that has it so that we can maybe arrive at a deal and we can maybe start swapping and doing trades. So think of it like a marketplace for pirates with an actual social media component to make it easy for people to find. And then from there, you're going to, for those that hold the set, it'll be very obvious to them on the site. Um, what I can say right now is that you'll want to hold the set of pirates if you want to mint your flow pirate, which is the next thing, for free. And so when we get to flow, a couple of months after the Solana reveal, um, you will have the ability to mint the third version of your pirate on a different blockchain with pixelated art. If you want that for free, you're going to hold your initial Ethereum one, your Solana one, and then you'll be able to claim your flow one. And so we're going to, the first 3 months are focused on launching pirates on 3 different blockchains with, at least enough hints and teasers that the more sets that you hold, the more opportunity you'll have, or that's what we're going to incentivize in terms of utility. Again, doesn't mean you can't participate with one, but if you want to have the maximum utility in our experience, then you should probably hold all 3. And so once we've dropped all 3, that's where we get to our first cross-chain flagship experience, where you're going to come to our website, you're going to check in your 3 pirates, your 2 pirates, or your 1 pirate, and you're going to get to participate in a play-to-earn experience that I can't tell you yet all the details about it, but it'll be very much focused on bringing the different blockchains together and the pirates on the different blockchains into this galaxy, drip galaxy, where there's going to be fun things to do and participate in. And, we'll have some partners that will actually be part of the ecosystem as well. And so you can imagine that there's going to be an economy around it, that there's probably going to be more drops related to building out that entire ecosystem, with ultimately, our first big experience being a game that you'll be able to play. And hopefully sometime soon we'll be able to make more announcements on that one.
Awesome. And I know it can be challenging, I imagine, to be in an early stage of a project to decide like what you're ready to share, what's in development, and things like that. But that definitely sounds exciting. It almost reminds me of some of these other kind of play to earn or kind of staking type of games where I think it's probably safe to assume that if you hold your sets, if you have things like that, you'll be rewarded in ways like that, whether it's games, whether it's utility and like for earning or things like that. Would that be kind of a safe assumption?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a very, very in-depth ecosystem with a lot of moving parts. And those who hold the initial pirates will always benefit the most.
Gotcha. Okay. And one thing I just actually wanted to clarify, just in case it's confusing to anybody watching, is that you mentioned something about like this initial utility, which is almost like a social network or a place to chat. It's almost like a Discord. It's like a visual Discord where you see your pirates. You can chat with other people who have other pirates. You mentioned something about finding someone who has the same serial pirate as you on another blockchain. If you mint though, if you do this initial mint, then that wouldn't be an issue, right? Because if you do the initial mint, you have that capability without having to talk to anybody to get the same pirate on the next blockchain. So in that scenario, you're talking about someone who like buys on secondary or
Yeah.
what would actually be that scenario? Because if I buy on secondary but you have not yet launched Solana, do I have access to that Solana pirate, or is it only if I minted?
Yeah. So when you mint on ETH and you hold, you'll be able to claim your matching Solana pirate for free on Solana. When we launch that Solana claim, there will be a secondary market for the pirates on Solana. So you can assume some people will sell, right? Some people will sell one, or they'll sell both. And if they sell both and one person buys a pirate on Solana, how do they find the matching pirate on Ethereum? Because they're 2 completely different marketplaces for now. we're really looking forward to the rumors that OpenSea might actually integrate Solana and Flow. That would be insane for us because that's our vision. Ultimate vision is that you should be able to hold your three pirates and trade them in the same marketplace. But for now, and we've talked to some of these marketplaces, like nobody's there yet, right? So you're going to be trading pirates on different marketplaces, and what's going to happen is you might buy one off the Solana marketplace in the secondary, and you don't have the matching pirate. And so we want to make it as easy as possible for people to find each other and trade, buy and sell those pirates on our website.
Okay, so then it's only applicable once those new marketplaces have opened, that you'll be in these situations where you have to try to find the other person, the counterparties, and that's an interesting idea actually, because I actually once won. I think it was actually with Dingaling. He just made a tweet once, and he's like, "Oh, I'm giving away NFTs," and I was lucky enough to get one. It was a bull on the block, and I haven't really paid much attention to that project, but there was a companion. It was like a dog, a bear
Bear,
on a block,
a
a
bear,
bear.
yeah.
Right. And so I couldn't find who had my bear. And actually, in that case, Dingaling had never done the claim. So there was no matching bear. But it was an interesting exercise in kind of what you're talking about, which is if you are in an environment where you need that matching piece, or you need to be able to communicate, the way that it works right now is it's very complicated, where you have to like go through Discord back channels, or pray that someone has their Twitter name on their OpenSea profile. Or so what you're creating, actually, it almost seems like a larger
Yeah.
thing that other projects could potentially use in the future too, which is some kind of way to communicate within the ecosystem of the project, which doesn't currently exist to my knowledge. So that is actually pretty cool.
You nailed it. And that is exactly who we are in this space. We're going to solve problems that others aren't solving yet, that are going to arise from the concept of having NFTs across different blockchains. And so our contribution back is all the tools that we build. We absolutely want partners to come on board. And, if a collection decides they want to mint on two different blockchains, why not do it with us and the experience that we're building in the marketplace that we're going to build, right? But you're absolutely right. This feature could even be for companions. How do I find my dog that I sold, regrettably, when I had 6 apes and sold some of the dogs? How do I find the matching serial number? It's pretty hard right now to do that.
Mhm.
You're doing it in private channels and conversations. And our vision is that, yeah, we're going to amalgamate the information and bring people together on our website, and there they can communicate and hopefully trade.
Yeah, maybe you'll build the next Discord killer. That would be great. But so you mentioned about possible like the ecosystem and games, things like that. So I wanted to quickly share this teaser that I saw a couple weeks ago, and when I saw this, I kind of blew my mind. The quality was excellent. The sound design was excellent. It reminded me a lot of and even that, how you incorporate the 2D into the video as well.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of when I used to play Monkey Island on PC. It's just a super well done, clean video. It was so well done, in fact, that it was recently copied. But like,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I wonder if there's anything else you can talk about for someone who sees a video like this. Let's say, this. I can tell you that when I saw this, it very much felt like I didn't quite know what was coming next, but I just knew that it was exciting. It felt a little bit like a potential game. When that spaceship going through outer space, I could almost imagine my pirate on that ship. Or, I wonder, I guess, just what can you expand upon that very badass teaser video?
Yeah, the one thing that I'll tell you is, for anybody that has seen it already, if you haven't seen it, go, it's a must see. To Tandy's point, it's all done in house. So I'm just showing, we're showing our capabilities of being able to build and create anything really that we can imagine up. But it was very intentional what we put in that video. And so if you've seen it already, watch it again, but with the eye that everything in that video, we have a plan to making it come to life in one way or another. So this isn't just hype trailer stuff, that is there for no reason other than creating hype. Um, every single scene in that video is like right there is something that we have ideas or plans to come to life in the future.
Okay. So I'm actually really impressed to hear that that was, I guess that makes sense that it was all done in-house, but that's kind of reassuring because you can
Right.
imagine that a lot of projects nowadays, like I alluded to earlier, some of these projects that don't have the best intentions, they are finding most likely outside artists and they just want to impress people and just that's the end of it. But it's refreshing to hear that this is done in-house. This is an example of what you guys are capable of. It's almost like a nice advertisement for Drip Studios because super impressive, really like just really beautifully done. So kudos to you guys. And for someone who's familiar with you just for the last however long year or so, this is new information that this is something that you and the people that you work with are capable of. So it's
Yeah.
super exciting. I can say that I haven't seen any other trailer like that for any other NFT project. So that's why my attention is definitely peaked, and I'm very curious to see what comes next.
Appreciate it. And this is only the beginning. We're just stamping our ground and saying, hey, these are all the things that uh this is our way of showing you that we have a lot of capabilities to deliver. And you're right, man. You got to be watch out for the smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors in the NFT space. It's easy to hire an artist from Fiverr to create something like this, something that's just good enough. We've seen some projects that have actually launched, and the art was significantly different than the art they were actually promoting,
Mm.
which is crazy. If you look through our honoraries or any of the art that we've teased, those are traits in our collection. You can expect to see all of our 3D art that you've seen is exactly what the collection is going to look like. And so there's no smoke and mirrors here. And, we may have obviously have not announced every single part of the utility of the world that we're building and what we imagine that to be. Those are our 3D characters, and those are, the zombies are to me like ultra special. I just love how sick the guy on the far right, love how sick they look, and that worm in the eye just kills me. But like that's it. That's the zombie trait. Like that's what the zombies will look like, and the robots, and like that's our quality, our art. And so yeah, we haven't announced all of the utility, but I think the space, you can't just give it all up front either, because then people get bored and then they expect more. So we'll be announcing like the true experiences that we want to build and utility as we move forward. But I think as a NFT collection that hasn't launched yet and has zero funding, I think we've already delivered a lot more than I think we're accustomed to seeing in the space.
And I think alone on the mint, if so, just to make sure I understand this, the mint price, you will get a claim on the other two networks included in that mint price. Is that right or no?
Yeah, I mean, what I can say is the Solana one is free. If you hold the Ethereum pirate, you will claim on Solana for free. And then, as I mentioned, if you hold both pirates, by the time we get to flow, you will mint for free. But you do
That
have to hold.
I mean, that to me is pretty exciting. And you are someone who's very big on ballers, so I wonder if we'll see some of these pirates playing basketball in the future. Um, but yeah, it all looks awesome. I mean, I know here it says games, so I'm very curious also just to see where that goes and what games come about. Utility token, obviously, a lot of projects are doing now, so that's almost that almost feels like a feature that a lot of projects are releasing, whereas games not so much. Games to me is the most unique one. The metaverse thing, I feel like metaverse, like you explained before, kind of anything in the digital space. But I imagine what you mean by that is because we don't even know how the metaverse is going to exist on different chains, right? We see like Sandbox, we see there's a couple other big ones that like Decentraland. Is that kind of where you're thinking when you talk about metaverse?
So the way I define metaverse is literally any digital experience in the future. The term has just become so vague now, and once you see companies like Meta, Facebook, and Microsoft, and starting to talk about the metaverse is literally the digitization of or the and the monetization at the same time, right? Like it's a combination of digitizing the physical or what's already been digitized, but then also being able to monetize that as a consumer and a creator. And so it's any experience. Twitter is the metaverse for me. Discord is a metaverse. There's going to be immersive 3D experiences, sure. But I don't actually think that's where we're going to spend most of our time in, because how long can you wear VR headsets for in an immersive experience? I think those are more niche experiences where you might play a game and then stop, right? But where we're going to spend most of, like, 90% of our time is probably more 2D experiences. And it could be literally just having a conversation, you and I right now. But we're talking with my ape, actually, right? Or my pirate, and instead of my face, that's the metaverse too, right? Collaboration. And so that's to me, what we're doing now is giving you the ability to wear that identity on multiple blockchains, regardless of what experiences they build out, whether they're immersive or they're not. If you think about Twitter and how Twitter now has NFT integration, and the initial teasers that they gave out were that the NFT, the way it was going to show up on your profile picture is you were going to be able to see the actual blockchain that it's hosted on. Right now, you have to click on it and then you can see the blockchain. In the future, though, you know, we feel like we're going to be the first collection that gives you the option to wear your pirate on Twitter, and you choose the art style and you choose the blockchain, and you're still verified on Twitter, right? Your NFT is still verified. So that's a simplistic view of the metaverse and giving people options. It's just right now, all we've done is we're giving you options, because so much of this is going to go into a million different places that we don't know. And so we want to be set up for the ability to have a presence in those different metaverses experiences that are being built out as pirates, as your single digital identity.
It almost feels like someone who sees the vision here is actually obviously the product looks cool, the videos, the potential games, but it's also like it's almost like you're investing in builders. That's how I'm seeing
Yeah.
this now. It's almost like I want to be connected to whoever is figuring out what's being built as it's being built. And it seems like that is a pretty bullish case to just want to be involved in the project in whatever way. So that's pretty cool, and that's something that only just clicked right now, and we've been talking for like a couple hours at this point. So that's really cool. So I think that gives a pretty good overview. I think we covered a good amount here. I think we showed the project. Is there anything else that you want to talk about in terms of the project? I've got the slide deck in the other window. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or like the roadmap at all, or do you think that we covered a good amount already?
Yeah, I think we've just about covered it all. Like, what I can say is that um, we'll be full of surprises too. Like, you know, we have bigger plans and more concrete plans than we're letting on right now, or that we're exposing in our roadmap. Part of why we created the space map itself is to leave a little mystery, right? And so if you look at our space map, and um, I don't think we have the latest one up on our website, which is really soon, which is going to update you on where we are,
Hmm.
and put some additional things in there. But the idea, oh yeah, that is the latest one, actually. So we did get that
Okay.
one up on the site already. Look at Tommy, man, he works so hard. Um, so there's things that are revealed in here that are very obvious. Hey, like, the next steps is we're going to mint on ETH for that price. You're going to get your 3D pirate, then you're going to go to Solana. You're going to get your 2D pirate, and below that, there's some stuff happening there that we have planned, that we're already working on,
Hmm.
that will be revealed over time. And so we can't just tell you everything we're doing. So bear with us, because being part of our community for the longer term means that um, we're going to be full of surprises along the way, as we, of course, look for our ultimate goal of building the experience that we want to build as well.
Are there any Easter eggs here, like the coordinates there, 76,678?
So we used some of them already in some of the hunts that we did.
Okay.
So we'll probably keep doing that, incorporating the Easter eggs in there and doing fun stuff with it.
Very cool. Well, I think all the way around, I think you really get a sense for the attention to detail and trying to be innovators in this space with like the different approach to getting on the whitelist and just all the way around. It just feels unique and different. So kudos to you guys. I'm really super excited to see what comes of this project. I definitely have my eye on it. And for anyone else that wants to get involved or wants to learn more, it looks like Twitter right there. Pirates Meta is where you need to go, or you can go to the website, which I have over here, which is piratesnft.io. And it's again, mint is March 7th. So
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks exactly. So that's going to be very exciting. That's awesome, man. I'm glad I could catch you at like a good time. It's like not too early, not too late, just right.
Oh
So
yeah, the next 2 weeks I won't sleep. Fully focused on finishing the collection and obviously marketing and promoting our product because we feel like everyone should see what we're doing.
absolutely. Well, you just let me know what you want to cut out of this for your own use, and we'll make that happen. But Crypto Poppy, really enjoyable to be able to chat again. I really appreciated just being able to hang and chat, and then this is hopefully going to be helpful to people who want to learn more about this project. And I'm also looking forward to the next time we chat. I wanna find out how this project went, what has changed in the space. I feel like every time it's like a bit of a milestone of the NFT space and what's happening. So I really
Yeah.
do appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Pumped and thrilled to be able to show what we're doing with your community.
Great. All right. Well, until the next time.